In this video, we're going to look at a GCSE past paper question on index numbers. So first of all, let's look at the question. We have a factory with different running costs given from 2010. Running costs for staff wages 52,000, premises 8,000, and raw material 20,000. And part A of the question is to show why appropriate weightings for the running cost categories are given in the table below. Well, if we're ever going to do a weighting, we have to first. A weighting is effectively a percentage of the total cost. So we need to work out the total cost first of all. So let's write down total cost. Total cost is equal to 52,000 plus 8,000 plus 20,000, which is 80,000 pounds is the total cost. Okay, so to work out the weighting, one way to do it to get a percentage weighting is to do each individual cost divided by total cost multiplied by 100. So staff, staff weighting, we're going to do 52,000 divided by 80,000 multiplied by 100, and that is indeed 65. And that's exactly the same way as you'd calculate a percentage. You do 52,000 divided by 80,000 times 100. That tells you that staff wages were 65% of the total cost. We'll do the same thing for premises. Premises weighting. In this case, it's 8,000 divided by 80,000 times 100. And if you work this out, you do indeed get 10. And notice that these are the same numbers that are in the table. So we're happy with 65, we're happy with 10. We're just proving that the table is correct. And raw material weighting. Now we're going to use the raw material, which was 20,000 cost, divided by 80,000 times 100, and that gives 25, which is indeed the 25, which is the number in the table. So that looks good as well. That shows why the numbers in the table are appropriate weightings. And notice, because each of these was like a percentage weighting, 65 plus 10 plus 25 adds up to 100 in our case. Okay, so that's part A complete. Part B now is looking at index numbers in 2015. And we're asked to find the monthly cost of staff wages in 2015, given that we're using 2010 as the base year. So there's a formula, sort of index is equal to current over base times 100. In this, and that lets you work out an index number if you have a current number and a base number. In this example, we actually have the index numbers and the base numbers. We want to work out the current numbers, i.e. the numbers in 2015. So rearranging this formula, we're just going to multiply both sides by base and divide both sides by 100. We get that the current is equal to the index times the base over 100. Okay, it's useful to be able to rearrange these formulae. We're looking specifically at staff wages. So for staff wages, our index is 107.2. Our base is, going back to 2010, is 52,000. And we have to divide by 100. So we have to do 107.2 times 52,000 divided by 100. and that gives us our final answer, which I'll write up above as £55,744. And this, it seems reasonable. This is, if we look at our index number is 107.2. Now that means that staff wages should have gone up by 7.2% since 2010. There were 52,000 in 2010, and going up 7% seems like 55,744 is a reasonable number. Okay, on to part C. Part C says to find the weighted index numbers for total running costs in 2015. So weighted index, again, there's a formula you need to know. It's the sum, sigma, Greek letter sigma means sum of the weights times the values divided by the sum of the weights. Okay, so all we have to do is we multiply the weights by the index numbers and divide by the sum of the weights. So our first weight, going back, was for staff wages, it's 65. So we have to multiply that by our index number for staff wages is 107.2. We're going to do that for all of the tasks and then add them together. So we do 65 times 107.2. So we have to add the premises, which is 10 times 114.6, 4.6, and then we have to add raw material, which is 25 is the weight, times by the index value is 112.0, and we have to divide that by the sum of the weights. Well, we already know that's 100, but let's just write that in full. The sum of the weights is 65 plus 10 plus 25 in this example. Okay, so this is a big calculation to do. I think we get 10914 as the numerator and 100 as the denominator. This is 109.14 is our weighted index number. And this means that this 109.14 means that total running costs have increased by 9.14%. 9.14% increase. That's what a 109.14 index number means. And the question asks us to show that the factory manager is correct. The factory manager says that costs have risen by less than 10%. Well, since 9.14% is less than 10%, therefore manager correct. Okay, so we go. There's an example of a full GCSE question on index numbers, covering both base index numbers and also weighted index numbers.